With 9 of the top 10 men ranked in the world here in today's event, 5 athletes still able to win the #1 ranking at the end of the season, it is going to be a battle of will today. With 5 podiums and 2 World Cup victories for Hunter Kemper, 3 World Cup victories for Tim Don, it is going to be a battle of will, and they're just about ready to start. 16 degrees water temperature. Wetsuits will be allowed. It is a 40-meter run into the water. Then the athletes will be doing 2 clockwise 750-meter loops back up onto the beach, and then about a 300-meter run to the transition zone. And we saw in the women's race that long 300-meter run back to the transition zone at the end of the second loop really gave an opportunity for some of the average swimmers who are great runners to get into that lead pack, and we saw that in Vanessa Fernandez. And you'd have to anticipate that this would be an opportunity for people like Tim Don and others to make sure that they take advantage of their great running skills out of the water and back to the transition zone. Courtney Atkinson pushing the pace very quickly, and he started the season off with a bang. 4 podiums this year, a World Cup victory in Ishigaki. Coming into this race, he has a chance to finish as high as 2nd overall in the standings. Andy Potts pushing the pace very quickly as well. Air temperature right now, 22 degrees Celsius. It's blue sky. They are talking about a little bit of a cloud to come over with some rain later on into the race. We hope it'll hold off, but right now, the conditions absolutely perfect. Again, the athletes have made their way here. A number of them have been in town for the better part of the last 2 weeks. Hunter Kemper being in town for about 10 to 12 days. He's been a media star since he's been here. The American enjoying his #1 ranking and right now sitting in about 5th spot. So very well positioned, Hunter Kemper, making sure that he keeps his eyes on those top 4 or 5 athletes, including Tim Don, one of the men that he's very concerned about, and Brad Caulfield as well. It's Courtney Atkinson and Andy Potts right now leading the new Plymouth ITU Men's World Cup Triathlon. You can see a lot of kicking, and often they're not using their legs, but today I believe they're really trying to lengthen out this lead to see if they can break up a few of the athletes, people like Tim Don and others. Into the chase athletes, Rasmus Henning and Andrei Glashenko from the Ukraine, Chris Gimmel and Henrik de Villiers from the Republic of South Africa. Big Matt Reed is sitting back into that group as well. So the very, very hard swimming up front is not getting rid of the athletes from behind, and they are just being strung out. They're now just approaching the 500-meter mark. They're on their way back towards shore, and that'll be a 150-meter run along the beach. And that certainly, again, will work into the advantage of the runners, and people like Courtney Atkinson are best renowned for their ability to really make some time when they get on the sand. Starting to dolphin dive, coming back towards shore. It's thigh-deep water, and that is very difficult to run through. And you can see Courtney Atkinson, just how aggressive he is when he gets back onto the sand. Atkinson and Andy Potts first out of the water, but Courtney Atkinson really now going very quickly across the sand, and he has done this very often in the past in his Australian surf life-saving days. And here come now the chase athletes. They're just over 9+ minutes through the opening 750 meters, a long string now of athletes going back. It'll be Courtney Atkinson winning the swim preem as our main chase of athletes coming through, including Tim Don, Brad Caulfield into that group as well, Bevan Doherty, Chris Gimmel just a little further ahead as they're heading back towards the water. One more loop of the clockwise swim. They'll be then coming out to do a 300+ meter run along the beach back into the transition zone. It's Andy Potts right now starting to pick up the pace as he is just going by Courtney Atkinson, the 2 of them now less than 150 meters from the end of this 1,500-meter opening swim. The athletes back in 3 through 15 really working hard right now. They don't want to get dropped over this last 150 meters. A critical element right now as we're coming to the last portion of this 1,500-meter swim. The helicopter shots now showing the men being strung out in one long line as Andy Potts and Courtney Atkinson have continued to keep the pace very, very honest up front. The swim specialists today are really trying to exert themselves over these last few 100 meters. And it looks like it'll be Andy Potts first to shore, Courtney Atkinson on his feet, and that's either Rasmus Henning or Vladimir Porlikopinko sitting back in 3rd, and both those men are very, very outstanding athletes as well and could certainly contribute if a small group of 2 or 3 got broken away off the front.
And we stars off to the best road game start in franchise history. Fly into St. Louis to battle the Blues. And on Tuesday, the new-look Bruins hit D.C., where a high-flying Russian rookie has led his team to some serious capital gains. The NHL on OLN. Stars, Blues, Bruins, Caps. Monday and Tuesday night.
Before my wipers streak or my belt start to squeak, I know I'm gonna catch it on time.
AutoZone has the people, parts, and advice it takes to stop trouble before it starts.
Nobody knows your car like you do. Nobody knows what it needs like we do. AutoZone.
If you're a homeowner with an adjustable rate mortgage, what happens to your monthly payment if the rates go up again? That's a great reason to lock in a low fixed rate loan from ditech.com. The total lender fee is just $395. Call 1-800-71-FIXED.
If you owe over $10,000 to the IRS or state, call American Tax Relief for a free consultation.
I thought I was going to lose my business, but American Tax Relief got me a second chance.
Call 800-716-6823 for your free consultation.
America's favorite home gym is more affordable than ever. Now you can get the all-new Bowflex Extreme for just $19 a month. Call the number on your screen for a free DVD or video and check it out. Bowflex's Power Rod technology delivers results. Powerful arms, defined legs, a stronger chest, and a toned, sexy core. And owning a Bowflex home gym is so affordable. Great results are easy with a new Extreme. All it takes is one simple workout, 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week, to get in the best shape of your life. The Extreme is built so well that we back it with an unrivaled 7-year warranty. And so effective, it comes with Bowflex's 100% satisfaction guarantee. Own the Extreme with no money down and payments of just $19 a month. And when you call right now, we'll give you the leg attachment upgrade free. Call for a free DVD or order your Bowflex Extreme for only $19 a month. And for a limited time, get the leg attachment free.
A little few dolphin dives as Andy Potts comes back to shore. He'll be just over 18 minutes and 20 seconds. Courtney Atkinson coming up from beside him, and you can see the much more rapid running pace of Atkinson. Very, very comfortable on these beach runs. He's done it so many times in Australia in surf life-saving races. The 1999 World Junior Champion, along with the Michigan All-American swimmer Andy Potts, out of the water running up the beach, and the chase men now coming up from behind. But there they are, just in over 18:25 into the transition zone. It'll be Courtney Atkinson first to his bike. Andy Potts, both of those men have won World Cup victories this year, so they will not be afraid to use each other's company and break off the front. Right side of the screen, you can see our chase group of athletes coming in. Chris Gimmel's into that group, so he's had a great opening swim. And just coming into the screen right now, Hunter Kemper just coming in as Andy Potts and Courtney Atkinson take off. And Atkinson will try to make a small breakaway. He has done this in the past. Tim Don into that chase group right there. Brad Caulfield as well. So all the men that we anticipate fighting it out for those World Cup overall points today have had very adequate swims, and they'll be trying to chase down the likes of Courtney Atkinson into that black bathing suit. All the major players out of the water and very close together. 18:24 for Atkinson. Andy Potts 1 second back. Rasmus Henning into there. Tim Don as well. You take a look, that Hunter Kemper is well positioned. Brad Caulfield just off the screen, another 2 seconds back. So the men that will be fighting it out are all out of the water very close together. And right now, a very important part of this race, Andy Potts just going ahead of Courtney Atkinson, and collectively those two men are going to try to communicate and see if they can make a small breakaway. Chase pack, however, is not going to give up without a fight, particularly people like Hunter Kemper, who knows if he allows Courtney Atkinson to get away, that could be a big difference in the overall finishing points and prize money with nearly $250,000 US to be given away today. An aerial shot of our men's 40-kilometer portion of the triathlon right now here on the bike. That's American Andy Potts, Australian Courtney Atkinson behind him, and it looks right there in the black. That's Marco Albert from Estonia, who is renowned for his biking abilities, and he right now is starting to ride away from the chase group with the carrot of Andy Potts and Courtney Atkinson ahead, and that little bit of a gap could be very lethal because he is a very powerful man, and those three collectively could be very, very scary combination off the front. Breakaways early on often are countered, and right now the trio of Marco Albert, Courtney Atkinson, and Andy Potts are up ahead, and it looks like Bevan Docherty and one other athlete now trying to bridge up as well, so the strongest of the cyclists are trying to use their abilities very early on. In fact, that is Bevan Doherty, the Olympic Games silver medalist, world champion from 2004, and he will be super motivated racing here at home, particularly now that he's got the monkey off his back, having made the Commonwealth Games team for New Zealand. So we now have a group of 5 off the front here, still very early in this men's 40-kilometer bike ride. Our chase group of athletes, however, are not giving up, and Hunter Kemper, one of those men, along with Matt Reed, who really now are trying to bring the chase group back to our leaders as we are going through still lap number 1 of 6, and lots of activity happening here very early on this 40-kilometer ride. The lead group now one of about 25, 26 athletes. Behind them, about 45 seconds down, Paul Amy is doing his best to try to bring them back up, and the athletes will be coming by the transition zone, a hard right around the roundabout, right past the grandstands, and then they'll do a 180-degree turn and come straight back in front of the grandstands, at which point it'll be one of the bike preems of the day. And the Americans have dominated on the preems today, the swims being won earlier on today by Laura Bennett, and on the men's side, Andy Potts. Laura Bennett taking 2 of the bike preems, and Susan Williams as well. So the Americans taking the vast majority of the preems here today. And as our chase group of athletes now come back towards the transition zone, it'll be a sprint for the bike preem on the lead group, and Greg Bennett and Sylvain Daudet, 2 of the men who are best renowned for their cycling abilities, and it looks like Greg Bennett just taking it there at the nip. So Greg and Laura Bennett continuing to show the domination on the bike side. Greg Bennett has been renowned for a very long time in his biking abilities, and we're back up now to the leaders. They're climbing back out of the transition zone, a small, very steep hill. It'll be a hard left-hand turn. See Bevan Doherty right there, and back up to Mark Freda, who's going very, very hard. Our chase group of athletes now, Peter Crows and Paul Amy, doing their best at 44, 45 seconds down, so they have splintered their group and trying to catch the leaders.
How do you prepare for the most dangerous race on earth? Get tough. Get smart. Get insurance. Prepare for the Dakar Rally on OLN. 3 straight Saturdays beginning January 14th at 7 p.m. It's hell on wheels.
You don't win a marathon in the first 100 meters. Success comes from weathering the challenges and going the distance, regardless of the conditions. We believe long-term investing is a basic principle that can help you realize your financial objectives. Oppenheimer Funds, the right way to invest.
Carefully consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses. Call your advisor for a prospectus with this and other fund information. Read it carefully before investing.
Need to finish your last-minute shopping? Circuit City makes it simple. We've got a huge selection of the year's hottest gifts, digital cameras, MP3 players, and more. Plus great stocking stuffers like movies, music, and games. Or send a personal holiday wish with a recordable Circuit City gift card. Last-minute shopping is simple, with 3 easy ways to buy. Just call, click, or come in to Circuit City.
The Braun Activator's Smart Foil captures hair growing in any direction for a closer shave. And its cleaning center keeps it feeling like new every day. The Braun Activator, the world's best self-cleaning shaver, guaranteed.
Marco Albert from Estonia has broken away, and really this is the kind of strategy that Albert has to have, because he is a phenomenal swim biker, not quite the same length of talent on the run yet, and he's going to have to make the break. The big chase group of men are just about 5 seconds behind him, and he really now, if he's going to get away, is going to have to work hard. Our chase group of athletes coming up from behind, and that includes Peter Crows, Paul Amy, who have done so much of the work. They're now down to less than about 15 seconds, so they're closing in right now as Marco Albert riding off the front here late in this men's 40-kilometer bike portion of the new Plymouth Triathlon. Marco's only podium ever was in Rio when he had a silver medal, but for this man to have a great chance, he's going to have about a 60 to 90 second gap on some of these fantastic runners out here. Looks like one of our Swiss athletes having made his breakaway right now, Sebastian Gassot from Switzerland, Chris Hill right there, and the 2 of them are trying to make a small breakaway looking over their shoulder. I think Andy Potts is up and coming right here through as well. And there's Andy Potts. So you can hear Andy saying, let's go Hilly. And the three of them right now, Potts from United States, Chris Hill from Australia, and Gasson from Switzerland. The three of them trying now to bridge their way up to Marco Elbert. That large shot now taking a look down, and it'll be Elbert with about a 15-second gap back to our trio, and then about another 20 seconds back to the main pack of athletes. Marco Elbert coming back into the transition zone. This will be the bell lap as he comes through. It'll be a bike preem as well, so Marco Elbert head down, and he is working very hard right now to try to get himself as sizable lead as he possibly can. Probably would be to his benefit if he had a chance to work with the trio behind him, but he won't realize that until he starts making a 180-degree turn and coming back in front of the grandstand. Gasson from Switzerland, Chris Hill from Australia, Andy Potts from the United States, and that trio will pass Marco Elbert as they're going down towards a 180-degree turn. They're on the final lap here. But here he comes. He'll win the bike preem, the last of the day, as Marco Elbert, who has been riding solo for the last 12 kilometers, heads back out for the final lap. He'll have a trio coming up from behind him, and those athletes will see the chase group as they head back up the hill, and will realize what kind of time gap they have. And great shot there is Greg Bennett, the man who has ridden so powerfully if you look back into the mid-90s. Fourth place finisher at the Athens Olympic Games. He has multiple World Cup victories to his credit, 2+ years, the #1 ranked man in the world. And we're now looking back up to the leader, Marco Elbert from Estonia, represented his country at the Olympic Games. A lot of athletes expending a tremendous amount of effort here in this last 6 or 7 kilometers of this 40-kilometer bike ride. Whether or not that's going to pay dividends, they'll be back out on to the start of the 10-kilometer run in about another 8 to 9 minutes. Right there, it's Greg Bennett, who has done a great amount of work to bridge up the soul from Switzerland into that group as well. And here comes Andy Potts, who led out of the water. And Andy Potts, what a brilliant career he has had in just the last 4.5 years. Just about made the Olympic Games in swimming, the Michigan swimmer. Got his first World Cup victory this year at the Edmonton World Cup race. And the Athens Olympic Games certainly fulfilling one of his lifelong dreams, and that was to go to the Olympic Games. He said his next dream is to go to the 2008 Games and get a medal. Chris Hill just coming into the scene, and that'll be the big man from Estonia. Marco Elbert will have held off the chase group of 4 that are coming up from behind him. The rain now starting to come down there, and it's getting just a little bit slick. Marco Elbert coming off the bike right now, just getting ready to head out for the start. The very first loop will be just over 5.6 kilometers, and then they'll do 4 small 1-kilometer loops. Elbert from Estonia, first off the bike, but here comes the group of 4 that bridged up together, and that includes Greg Bennett from Australia, Chris Hill from Australia, as well, Gerso from Switzerland, and Andy Potts just coming off the bike right now. And then the big chase group, you can see them there in the distance, so they were not too far behind. And now whether or not they've exerted too much effort over those last 5 or 6 kilometers, we'll see shortly. On the left of the screen, that's Hunter Kemper and Tim Don getting ready to head out onto the start of this run. Well, it's going to be a battle of the runners now. Greg Bennett off the front, Tim Don, Hunter Kemper, Courtney Atkinson, Bevan Doherty, Chris Gimmel. Just a few of the phenomenal runners who'll be coming up about 20+ seconds behind. The rain came down for just a few seconds, but it has really now cooled the temperature off. Marco Elbert off the bike with about a 14-second lead, and then about 30+ seconds back to the main pack of Chris Gimmel, Brad Caulfield as well. Caulfield has just quietly gone about his business now over the last swim and bike portion. And the man who had one of the best sprint finishes in the season in Hungary with Dimitri Gag will be trying to get himself onto the overall ranking for the end of the year. Well, it's Greg Bennett off the front. It's Andy Potts right there just trying to hang on. He's just passed Marco Elbert, the man who led off the bike. And the chase group of athletes now are coming up from behind this aerial shot. You can see that lead group. They have athletes who are chasing down both Andy Potts and Greg Bennett as Bennett runs off the front right now, and he will not know for a little bit of time that he is being chased down by the men who really have gotten the job done on the run this year, and that's the likes of Tim Don with 3 World Cup victories, the likes of Hunter Kemper with 2 World Cup victories.
Survivor wasn't a vacation, but you could win one to Thailand without eating a single bug. OLN presents the Survivor Thailand Sweepstakes. Watch Survivor Wednesdays from November 30th through December 28th for a chance to win an 8-day, 7-night exotic trip for two to Thailand. Look for the code word during each episode. Then go to olntv.com/Thailand Sweepstakes to enter the correct word and you could win. Contest ends Wednesday.
This holiday season, come to Lowe's, where great values on thousands of gifts are sure to bring good cheer. Now, only at Lowe's, get one of 9 top-quality tools absolutely free by mail when you buy any 18-volt Firestorm tool or combo kit. Or let them choose the perfect gift with a Lowe's gift card. And now Lowe's has NCAA-themed gift cards from your favorite schools. So come in or shop online at Lowes.com and see why there's no place like Lowe's for the holidays.
Before my wipers streak or my belt start to squeak, I know I'm gonna catch it on time.
AutoZone has the people, parts, and advice it takes to stop trouble before it starts.
Nobody knows your car like you do. Nobody knows what it needs like we do. AutoZone.
Imagine what you could do with an extra $30,000 in cash right now. If you're a homeowner, Ditech.com could help you to get $30,000 for a fixed monthly payment as low as $219. Just log on to Ditech.com or call 1-800-71-FIXED and talk to a Ditech loan representative right now. $30,000 without disturbing your current low-interest first mortgage. Log on to Ditech.com or call 1-800-71-FIXED.
If you'd rather experience an adventure than watch one on TV, come to Arkansas, the natural state. Get a free Arkansas vacation planning kit, including a special adventure guide when you log on or call.
Working from home changed my life.
It all started when I was referred by this free service.
With all the money I made working from home, I bought a new home. This is the one website you have to visit.
Put your computer to work now.
All you need is a computer and a little belief in yourself.
I'm making $5,000 a month.
I make over $7,000 a month working part-time.
I love the lifestyle my home business offers, and the money's great too.
Log on to 8worknow.com.
Well, you can look right there, and it looks like Bennett is just about to be caught as the aerial shot now looking down. Bevan Doherty really pushing the pace along with Chris Gimmel and Hunter Kemper. I can see Tim Don into that group as well, and the local man looks over his shoulder as Bevan Doherty now takes the lead, and this is the first time in 2005 that Bevan Doherty has shown that kind of fitness. That aerial shot right there shows our lead group of 6 or 7 athletes. They'll come through around the Winwan, back across the green carpet, a little bit of a loop through town. They'll go back onto that pathway along the water, and when they get back to the transition zone, they then will just have 4 small 1-kilometer loops. Back to our chase group now. That's Tim Don in the white hat and the 2-piece outfit. Courtney Atkinson just over his shoulder, Hunter Kemper in the blue as well. And that's a great shot as they come back towards the transition zone. It's 2 Kiwis off the front, and you can see the crowd. They will be cheering them loudly. Since the 1-2 finish at the Olympic Games for Hamish Carter and Bevan Doherty, these 2 men are absolute superstars. Their faces on the sides of buildings and posters, and they have been hugely supported by this island nation. Back to the transition zone after the long 5.6-kilometer loop. It's Bevan Doherty and Chris Gimmel. They will come by the crowd and then just have 4 1-kilometer loops to do. A little bit of a chess match now as Chris Gimmel absorbing all of the energy from the crowd, and he will be taking the lead. Doherty trying to sit onto his shoulder. The chase group of 4 men, you can see right there, back by about 15 to 18 seconds. Rasmus Henning and Hunter Kemper trying to go after that lead group right there. They're back by about 30+ meters, and really that's still an opportunity to pull them in if they can really now start to exert themselves. You saw at the World Championships where Peter Robertson had that breakaway. You don't want to let a motivated man get a 20 or 30 meter lead. You may never get it back. 4 men now right into that lead group, not too far behind Tim Don and Courtney Atkinson, Brad Kohlfeldt as well, and they will be having a huge battle back there because they're still fighting it out. for numbers 2, 3, and the overall world ranking points. It's American Hunter Kemper right now. He just taking the lead, and on his shoulder is Bevan Docherty, and this crowd has been absolutely over themselves, knowing they're going to have a chance to see their hometown heroes, and they have been hugely supportive of all the athletes. And here they come back out onto the lap 2 now. They've only got 2.5 kilometers to go here in this 10-kilometer run, and it's the lead 4, Hunter Kemper, Bevan Docherty, Chris Gimmel, Rasmus Henning, and what a great showing Rasmus Henning is now putting in late into this 2005 season. Just listen to the crowd, and Henning now going off. Less than 2K to go, and Henning now tries to put his spurt in. Rasmus Henning very fresh. It's late in the season, but with illness and injury early on, he had a chance now to have his body rested coming late into the season, and Rasmus Henning now trying to exert himself about a 3 to 5 meter gap on Bevan Docherty, who now bridges himself back up. Hunter Kemper now starting to fall off the back. Chris Gimmel just sitting onto the side of Rasmus Henning, and Bevan Docherty now into the lead. And you can see Hunter Kemper oh so close to having that elastic band break and start to fall off that lead group of 3. It's just a 1 kilometer long section. The athletes are going down and back, and the crowd has been out here for the last several hours, and now it's Henning once again surging to the lead. Really the 3 men that are forcing the pace right now, probably the freshest on the season, knowing that Gimmel was out early on with injuries, knowing that both Rasmus Henning was out with injuries, and Bevan Docherty not at the top of his fitness early on the season. Hunter Kemper, the man who's in 4th right there, came out with all guns blazing back in April, and right now he's trying to hang on to the 3 men who are bridging away. It's Rasmus Henning in the lead, Chris Gimmel in the 2-piece blue outfit, Bevan Docherty, the Olympic Games silver medalist, and right now those 3 men have now dropped Hunter Kemper. It now looks into this last 1.5 kilometers that it's going to be a 3-man battle with 2 New Zealand athletes in there, and once again Rasmus Henning going after the lead motorcycle as they're on to the bell lap. Less than 3 minutes of running now, and they're really starting to force the pace. It's time for Docherty to put his surge in right now, and you'll see some other athletes on the course. They're now being lapped. Bevan Docherty really looking incredibly efficient right now on top of the toes. About 900 meters to go left in this 10-kilometer run section of the New Plymouth I2 Men's Triathlon. Rasmus Henning now just looking over his shoulder, and they have not been able to drop Chris Gimmel. They'll go down for about another 250 meters around the car, and then it'll be 500 meters straight home. Just listen to that crowd. They have filled this entire last section of the run course. 2 Kiwis, 1 Danish athlete, Hunter Kemper, the American, who likely is going to finish with the #1 ranking for the season, right now sitting back in 4th place. And really, as long as Hunter Kemper finishes in the top 10 today, he will secure that final over 1 ranking that he has worked oh so hard for this season. It's around the car now and just 500 meters to home. This has been an absolutely phenomenal day of racing. The crowd has been out here. The local organizers have done a phenomenal job. The New Zealand Federation has to be absolutely over themselves. Not just a great event, but 2 of their men right now with a great chance. And here comes Hunter Kemper. Look at him trying to bridge back on. That's why this man is going to end up #1 ranked in the season. He just does not let them go. And here he comes now. Gimmel up onto his toes. This is the move now. He is gone. He has really started to bridge away. Rasmus Henning now trying to go after him. They're less than 300 meters to the finishing line. Chris Gimmel, what an incredible, courageous move. Oh, so far from the finishing line. He's now down less than 250 meters to go. They'll be coming by the grandstand in just a few seconds, and then it's less than 50 meters to the finishing line. Chris Gimmel up on the toes, and it looks like he has made that decisive move, and this just may pay off with his biggest victory of his career. Chris Gimmel, who started the season off with an injury, had sickness, and here in front of his home family, is going to have a chance to claim the biggest prize of his great career. He just made the Commonwealth Games team, and Chris Gimmel now is less than 50 meters from the finish line, but here comes Bevan Docherty. Unbelievable. Bevan Docherty on top of his toes, right to the finishing line, and Docherty, just like the World Championships, claiming victory here. What an unbelievable sprint finish. Bevan Docherty crossing the line with a victory. Chris Gimmel 2nd, Rasmus Henning 3rd, and it's going to be Hunter Kemper just coming towards the line. But look at this sprint finish, and he timed it to perfection. Doherty, as he did at the World Championships in Madeira 2004, has timed this to absolute perfection. What a way to finish the season. The man who said he started off out of shape has ended it with an incredible performance. 1-2 for New Zealand as Bevan Doherty absolutely spent. Chris Gimel will have to be incredibly stoked by that performance, just passed by his teammate.
That was the most exciting race of my life. Absolutely amazing. It's been a long time since the games and it's been a pretty frustrating year, but I've always known I had it in me. My two goals this year was to qualify for the Commonwealth Games and to do well here in New Plymouth, and you know, I've achieved that and I'm super happy. That was the most amazing feeling. The crowd support was just amazing out there.
I just felt good the whole way, and to be honest, the hardest bit was probably the second lap with the little loop when Rasmus came up to us and started putting the pressure on, and then I got back into my rhythm, and you know, I thought I had it, but you know, when you're racing against champions, you know, and your best mate, he knows you inside out, you know, and he knew that I could sprint him away, you know, on 100 metres, but he knew that he'd have me over in streaks, and I thought he was gone, but, you know, he just comes back. He's a fighter, mate.
I knew I was going to be a good runner today, so I didn't want to waste any energy before the run, which is not my usual tactic, but today that was the way it was going to be. And when Gamble opened the sprint and Bevan followed him, I just couldn't respond to that. But I'm very, very happy with the third place today.
As far as the season, it's been great, and it's going to be great for the U.S. to have a guy on top of the world rankings, and I can enjoy that. At least I can go home to Christmas and all the friends and relatives back home and tell them number one in the world.
Well-deserved for Hunter Kemper, and a well-deserved bronze medal here today for Rasmus Henning, finishing the season off on a positive note. The top of the podium for the silver medalist from the Olympic Games, world champion 2004. Bevan Doherty certainly showing that early season out of shape has been able to be tuned into a great performance, and his next big race will be the Commonwealth Games. Doherty, Gimel, and Henning. Hunter Kemper fourth. That claims him a great performance. And Brad Caulfield running through the field in the last kilometer, and that will be oh so critical, because when we take a look here in just a second at the finishing World Cup points, you can see that Brad Caulfield jumps up to number 2 ahead of Tim Don, and Hunter Kemper claiming the top. What a phenomenal season of racing it has been. Annabelle Luxford claiming the women's title, Hunter Kemper the men's. Some fantastic performances when you take a look at Tim Don's 3 World Cup victories, as well the amazing season by Vanessa Fernandez.